Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. We are talking with our News Channel 5 reporter, Forrest Sanders. He's a solo video journalist, meaning he goes out all by himself, does these stories. He's the reporter and the photographer. We just played the first story, and it was just wonderful. And
Thank you, Ben.
Our point is to kind of talk about how these stories come about, how they wind up on television. And now there's another story that you have brought that I want to watch.
Right.
So I will ask you to set it up.
I got nothing to say. I don't like giving anything away. So here's a story. Watch it.
Very good. Let's
I
watch
love
this
eyes.
story.
I'm very good at eyes. They are windows to the soul.
There's a contrast between the colored pencil and acrylic paint artwork of Aaron Williams, and the fact in person, Aaron finds eye contact difficult.
Loneliness is something that I've struggled with my whole life. Pretty bad social anxiety, and still do.
What helps is the art.
It became a way for me to connect with people.
But 2 years ago, the loneliness became too much. With the COVID shutdowns, Aaron's once busy city was so often empty. Work was suddenly from home. It was a forced isolation.
The addiction just spun totally out of control. It was alcohol and narcotics. I knew I was dying, and I did not want to die.
Aaron knew there was somewhere they had to go. Aaron entered Alcohol and Drug Treatment Center, Cumberland Heights. They were taken by something printed on the front of a handbook. Addiction is a disease of isolation.
I had to have other people, or I did not have a chance.
For someone with social anxiety, the group sessions weren't easy, but they had to make this work. But maybe someone could help.
Yes, Teague helped a lot.
Yep, that's Teague, a recovery dog for Cumberland Heights.
Come here, Teague. So everybody loves him. He is thebomb.com.
Can you high five? Okay. Hi, bud.
Teague is here for emotional support.
Oh, everybody wants to take him home. You know, they have to fight me to get him out of here.
How you doing, buddy?
He's the best bud of everyone here. But for Aaron, Teague is actually something even more.
Teague made it a lot easier to be with people. It's just such a huge source of stress relief and love. This is supposed to capture what's happening in an addict's and an alcoholic's brain when they're exhibiting extreme thinking. And then on the left over here is that state of clarity.
Now, Aaron doesn't do portraits of anyone they know. Well, except for this time.
That like intense level of attention to detail to capturing him. It was a bid at connecting to the staff and the other people who were here with me by illustrating something that we all love.
Oh, you're loving life today, aren't you?
Hey, come here, buddy. One of the most important things I've learned in recovery so far is that even though I'm not the person that I want to be today, I can still love the person that's sitting here. I am 1 year and 3 months sober now. It was a massive thank you to the people who had made it possible.
So in this portrait, what do those eyes say?
It says, I'm here for you. I'm going to be here no matter what.
He's a sweet boy.
That's great. That was great.
Did a really beautiful picture, too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, walk us through that story.
Well, the reason why I wanted to show this one is because I was telling you earlier, we like our reveals in feature storytelling. We also like our surprises. So I very intentionally tried to structure this story so that you did not immediately know there's going to be this hero dog that was going to show up at a certain point. I wanted that to be a nice surprise. Go ahead and set up Aaron's story and what they're going through, and then at a certain point, we get to find out what it was that was because they're saving grace in all of this. That Teague was going to enter the picture at a certain point, and that was going to kind of shift the whole tone of this story. And I like my reveals. I didn't want to give away that we have this this picture that Aaron had created of Teague, because that's inherently what I was out there for. When I originally got this this pitch from somebody over at Cumberland Heights, they were telling me about this picture that was done. It was like, okay, so that's the initial pitch, is the picture that was created of Teague. And then it's sort of like, okay, but who is the person who created that picture? And then also, how do we bring Teague into things? So it's not as simple as just jumping into the story with, there's a new picture over at Cumberland Heights of one of their therapy dogs. No, I wanted to stack this out so that we would have that appreciation of that picture and what that picture means.
And I was going to ask, having watched it, in your opinion, was that a story about the dog or about Aaron? And really, it's both. I mean, they're both so powerful.
I'd say inherently it's about Aaron's journey. But Teague, the dog, plays a role in that journey, and also completing that picture plays a part of Aaron's journey as well. So, I mean, the short answer to that question, it is about Aaron, but Teague plays an important part in
and
Aaron's
it came
journey.
to you. The story came to you as there's been a painting about this dog that's doing great things at Cumberland Heights.
Yes.
And then you build it out into that. I'm
Big
also
fan of
struck.
Teague's work.
Big fan.
Yep.
I'm struck. Aaron is so compelling.
Very open about the story.
Open and so comfortable. So here's someone who says she suffers from social anxiety, and she's telling you on camera, I knew I was dying and I did not want to die. She's sharing something incredibly deep and personal. How do you get someone comfortable enough to do that?
Well, you know, you don't want to go into these interviews just cold or anything. Just set up a camera and throw up a light and plant a camera in front of them. You want to have a conversation for a little while. I did call Aaron ahead of time. We just kind of talked out. What are you comfortable sharing? What do you want people to know? Aaron was open to doing this story when the story pitch came to me through Cumberland Heights. But I wanted to make sure that we were doing this in a way that Aaron was going to be comfortable with, and also be authentic to their story. And so we need to have those conversations beforehand. And then we sat down and we knew the general direction that we were going to take in telling Aaron's story. And I hope that we did exactly that.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm often, people say, you know, I'm not comfortable talking. What are the questions going to be? And we don't give the questions, but you do like to give people an idea. You don't want to blindside them. You want to give them an idea of what they're going to be talking about. But for you, I would think if you gave them the questions, it could come off as more scripted. You don't want to go there.
They didn't have the questions beforehand or anything. There was just a conversation in terms of, I needed to know what Aaron's story was really before we went into to everything. So it's not a really strict interview. People think that I'm going to show up with like a couple of questions. It's not that set. I'm just having a conversation with people. It's a conversation like right now. This is not in a teleprompter. This is not scripted. We're just talking. And this is the same way that I like doing interviews, is that we're just having a conversation. So, you know, people will ask, can you give me the questions ahead of time? I don't know what the questions are going to be, really.
You know the topics, but you don't. Yeah,
I know the topics, but I don't want things to be that formal. I want us just to be having a comfortable conversation. It's like I said, with in Aaron's case, I did talk to Aaron ahead of time, and so I knew what Aaron's backstory was. But the actual interview, we're just talking. We're just friends having a conversation, and I think that puts people at a lot more ease. If they've prepared all these responses, you know, it's going to be very stifled.
I mean, I'll have people that like, well, you know, my media coach tells me I need to keep it at 12 seconds, and then
we've all encountered that.
You know, they're all in their head, and they get in their own way, in a way, and that's you know, that's not what anyone wants.
And in Aaron's case, you know, I want to get into those details about somebody. It's not all just the formal questions of how did you end up here at Cumberland Heights? Who is Teague? What is your interest in painting? I want to get into some of the particulars. Everybody is unique, and I want to get into what is special about that person's story. And I hope that we were able to do that with Aaron. And I think in Aaron's case, the particulars we were able to get into was what is going on in their head in terms of putting these pictures together. We got to have that conversation as to Aaron's process.
So I feel like I've been talking to you about this story as the producer-writer. Now I want to talk to you as the photographer, the photojournalist.
Oh, I do have something to throw in about that.
What, it's so beautifully shot. What shot are you most proud of in that story?
Let's see. I don't... Oh, I'd have to watch it again. Replay it. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, can I tell you what I thought?
Okay,
I was blown away. I love the painting.
Yeah.
And I love the dot. The black dot, and then you had her world, right? Like COVID shut down, and then you had the dot.
That was a shot from back in the early part of COVID when the streets were pretty quiet in downtown Nashville. Yeah, I put that into the dot of paint. I'm glad that you like that.
I like
shot.
that. I really did. Wow.
And you know, you get challenges that you never expect when you're out on these shoots, and I got one. The dog hated my camera. Teague, because I've got like a really good size big camera that I'm carrying around on my shoulder, and this is why you have to be adept. You have to be able to adapt to the situation. Luckily, I had a GoPro because the dog would not be in the same room as that big camera. Teague did not like the cameras, but the little GoPro, because I think you can tell there's a difference in the shot sometimes. There's kind of a wide angle effect, which you get with the GoPro in a lot of cases. Teague was comfortable with the GoPro, so you adapt, and because otherwise I wouldn't have any shots of this dog, and it's kind of important to the story. But Teague would put his nose right into that GoPro and gave me some of the stuff. You were asking what shots I like. I like the ones with the dog's nose in the camera. That's my favorite.
Because you know how hard it was to get. I mean, I would think, okay, it's a story. The dog naturally came up to the camera, but you know how hard it was to get that, and that's probably why you think it's...
I had to switch cameras to get it. Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's great. We're going to play another story, but I guess we're talking about, again, behind-the-scenes look, kind of giving us a transparency into what we do. There's a lot of cynicism around the media. You know, this problem, that problem. People have questions. We want literate viewers.
Sure.
How has that cynicism impacted what you do, if at all?
Well, I mean, I tune it out. I mean, I hear criticism sometimes, but frankly, I know in my heart what I'm trying to do. I do nice stories about nice people doing nice things. And listen, I want to talk to everybody, and so I know what my intentions are. And you know, if somebody were to tell me that I'm trying to do this or that, I just know that that's not true. It's much more simple than that. I'm finding stories that I find interesting about people that I find interesting, and I'm working that up, and that's as deep as it is for me.
I love it. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we're going to play another story. So we'll play one more story and then kind of walk us through that. Take a break, be back right after this.